Hey family, it's your girl Ms. Mofilla, and you already know we are back inside the maze with an extra special dose of the critical breakdown. Listen, I say this to y'all all the time, but if you guys never listened to a conversation before, I'm gonna need y'all to listen to this one today. You understand me? We've got my good sis, the one and only Nieisha Deed in the building. Say hello.
Hello, Inside the Maze.
And welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you are here. For those of you who don't know, this is the force behind Purespark, helping us get our mental health in order as a people, okay? So we're gonna get into that and all that is, Nieisha. It is the critical breakdown, man. Let's get straight to it. Now, I could run your resume for you, but it's so much better when you do it, right? So, for the people who don't know who you are, let them know exactly all that is, Nieisha Deed.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I'm a Roxburian.
I know that's right, period. Coming from a Dorchestian. I don't even know that's how you say it, but.
Right. Born and raised, the thing that makes me a bit unique from other Bostonians, I think, is that I didn't grow up in BPS.
Gotcha.
I went to school in Mecco. I went to school in Sharon, Mecco.
Ooh.
But that plays a really important role in the trajectory of my life because that's why I decided to go to the HBCU.
Okay.
I decided to go to Howard University in Washington, D.C., which is like one of my second or third homes. New York is also one of my homes, but you know. And so after going to college and experiencing that, I went back into corporate America. I'd say, back into an environment where I was the minority again, right? Mm-hmm. And that had a big impact on my mental health. I didn't know it then, but 15 years later, after being in corporate America, I learned like, whoa, that feeling of like isolation, being excluded on a day-to-day basis in different ways really impacted my mental health. And so after 15 years of being in that space, I went through a really hard time that maybe we'll get into. That caused me to not want to be here anymore, pretty much.
That's right.
And I decided that, you know what, I need to get out of this situation. This is not for me. And now the work that I do to this day is, looking at mental health from a holistic perspective. Okay. Right? So not only looking at therapy and, talk therapy and medication and all that stuff, but also looking at ancient healing modalities that our ancestors might have practiced, like dance, like community healing circles, things that are going to heal us from the inside out. Come on. Right? Okay. So that's what Purespark is about. It's a wellness directory, a culturally competent wellness directory where you go on and you see brown people and you're like, okay, yes, that's what I'm talking about. People that look like me. And so aside from that, I do a lot of speaking engagements where I talk about my story to bring light to it, but also to let people know that they're not alone. And if you felt like this before, you're not alone, you're not broken. We have to start looking at the systems. I talk about the systems that are created to exclude us and to feel othered and to feel alienated, that bring about these feelings of depression and anxiety and all of those things.
I appreciate somebody like you even having that sight to take it a step further. A lot of times we can easily just say, I'm depressed. Society, we always put that label on it. Society has depressed us, but it's like, no, the systems that we encounter on a day-to-day basis can definitely contribute to those feelings. I have to tell you personally, I think I told you this off camera too, if it was not for Purespark, I would not have successfully found a therapist that looks like me. You know what I mean?
And I didn't pay her to say this, y'all.
She did not pay her to say that. we had never met, and I had heard of Purespark because I was a black person in Boston. We know the narrative where you didn't really have easy access to black and brown therapists. And I'm a person that believes in therapy, talk therapy, Reiki, all the therapies, okay? So having that directory created saved me so much time, saved me so much emotional energy, because we know how hard it can be to find the right therapist. So it kind of like took the pool of this much and brought it down to here. You know what I mean? And then I can sift through these people that kind of fit the demographic that I'm looking for,
right,
and then find what works for me. So thank you before even I got to meet you. Thank you for Purespark, because it saved my life too. Now, I don't want to get too deep into it if you're not comfortable, but can you talk about this story? I'm right, that's what you do. I'm talking to Nieisha, that's what you do. So I would love for you to tell our family your story specifically of, you know, that traumatic moment you experienced that turned into your triumph.
Yeah, so, you know, like I said, young girl, 6 years old, right? Going to Sharon. And waking up, you know, at the butt crack of dawn, 5 a.m., it's dark outside, and I gotta get ready to go to school. And I remember, you know, during the winter, looking outside at 6 a.m., it's still dark,
Good
right?
God.
All for the sake of getting this better education. And, you know, I'm working with MECO now, you know, doing some conversations with them about some other stuff.
Yeah.
But I think the intention, it's very well intended, but no one really looks at what happens to those children emotionally when they have to go through that, right? Not having teachers that look like us, being the only one in class, when certain things come up, everybody's looking at you for the
it's
black
like,
boys. I'm 6,
right.
I'm 7, you know, or whatever the case may be, however old you are, right? And so, you know, like I said, going to Howard really helped to heal me, because I had my first black teacher at Howard. You know, I went to classes where I wasn't the only one. I felt so safe. I felt like I belonged. Like it was like really the medicine that I needed.
Okay.
But then to go back into corporate America, like I said, and to almost kind of deal with the same things that I was dealing with as a 6-year-old, right? But now I'm an adult, so I should be able to handle this, right?
Yeah.
It was hard. And so I think it's tough because, number one, I was getting paid very well. I'm not gonna say
they don't talk about that. The paycheck, you're making a big difference.
Well, okay.
I can pay with a little bit of
exclusion. Go ahead, all right. Pay me my money.
Give me that paycheck.
You know, yeah. And you know, after doing that for 15 years, the wear and tear, when you ignore certain parts of yourself that are begging for attention, that little 6-year-old child in me was begging for belonging, begging for community, and I was starving her, right? And so, you know, I remember, you know, this was like 2017, around October 2017, symptoms of depression really started to like show its ugly head, right? And symptoms of depression are, you know, your appetite changes. Either you're eating more, or you're eating less. For me, I could not eat anything. I was trying to drink a smoothie, could hardly drink it, right?
Wow, okay.
Lost so much weight, people thought I was dealing with an eating disorder. I'm like, no, I wish I could eat, trust me.
I want to eat at some point.
But I couldn't. You know, another sign is, you know, when your sleeping patterns change. Either you're sleeping more or you're sleeping less, right? Another pattern or a symptom of depression is like when you're no longer hanging around or doing the things that used to bring you joy. So I'm not hanging out with friends, you know, they're calling me, they want to hang out, can't do it, you know? And so that's when it started, but then it progressively got worse as we enter into November and December. Now we're also dealing with winter, right? Seasonal affective disorder. So there's a lot at play right now. And I remember my family, you know, calling me more because they could tell, like,
something's off.
Something's off with Nieisha. And like my aunts were calling me, my cousins, my sister, like everybody was calling me on my line. And I had officially gotten a diagnosis of catatonia. And catatonia is basically, for people that don't know, psychosis where you basically detach yourself from reality because reality is so hard. And it's not like anything that you can turn on and turn off.
Absolutely.
It's just like a switch.
Disassociation.
Disassociation on like level 1,000.
Gotcha.
Like where you see people outside and they just look like they're not connected to reality. Sometimes that's drug induced, right? But this was not.
Okay.
This was like, you know, dealing with trauma that I didn't realize was traumatic, right? Because I'm thinking, well, I grew up in Roxbury.
I can handle anything.
Shoot, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Shoot above it. Like, that didn't do anything to me. I wasn't traumatized by that. But this,
but not being included, I'm traumatized. It's real.
Yeah, but it's real. It's real. You know, our core beings want to feel included. Our core beings want to feel like we belong, because our ancestors way back in the day, if we didn't have community, we were dead.
Absolutely.
Right? And
Absolutely.
so that's huge. I don't care how much our American culture likes to tell us to be individual.
Isolates us.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we need community. So, you know, I had gotten that diagnosis. I was like losing weight every single week, but you know, as a Black woman, I still gotta go to work. Y'all
still gotta put on that tough face, right?
I got it. I can do it. Girl. And you know, not sleeping, not eating, whatever, like that's, you know, basically impacting your cognitive ability.
Yeah.
You know, so my ability to even do my job was declining. And at that point I said, the heck with it. You know, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And it felt very like I'm stuck. Things will never improve. That's the depression, right? Things will never improve. It will always be this way. And the only answer that my brain could come up with is just end it.
Just done. I'm done.
Just end it, right? And thankfully, because I have a community and because I belong to a beautiful family, they wasn't gonna see it go down like that.
Absolutely
And
not.
it was like, you know, on my line, they flew down to DC, knocked on my door and was like, yo, let's go, like, you need help.
Yeah, that's a blessing in itself, because unfortunately we hear the stories of how many people don't have that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And unfortunately we do lose them, or somebody's able to pull themselves out of it, so to speak. So that's a blessing all in itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do not take having family support for granted. And also my family's so dope because we have family members that are in the medical profession, a doctor, a nurse, 3 therapists, and so they knew kind of what to do.
Gotcha.
You know, so
Okay.
I feel like I am privileged in that way, and I do not take it for granted.
That's dope.
So yeah, that's kind of how things kind of went down, and then you know the aftermath was going to the hospital, which is not fun. When you got to be locked up, clank, locked up.
So
they
I've
won't
never,
let me
listen,
out.
Nieisha, this is the first time I've ever said this out loud, especially in public, right? I had one of those moments where I had reached my mental breaking point, and I thought, you know, because I had a quick thought of hurting myself, but then talked myself out of it and said, let me go to the hospital,
Yeah,
right?
that's
so
called passive suicidality, where it comes and goes. Yeah.
So you're thinking, I'm going to the hospital for refuge and safety, but they don't tell you that the moment you give the information that you had a thought of hurting yourself, there's an automatic 3 days, is it? Or I can't remember exactly what it is. But
You get section 12.
Yeah.
And yeah, you basically...
they clank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For somebody like myself, that was all the wake-up call that I needed, so to speak, where it was like, I can't walk out this door if I want to. Oh, I appreciate my life, don't worry about it, like, we're gonna get this together. But it's not the same for everybody else, but I always like to make it very clear what the full picture looks like. We have these thoughts, and it's understandable, right? But be careful and make sure that you know everything that comes with that. So I'll leave that there. I'm not the professional, but I'm gonna just talk to you from experience.
No, but that's real.
Yeah.
You know, as people with lived experience, and I now consider you somewhat of a person with lived experience. Thank you for sharing your story, because there's a lot of stigma in our community. You already know. So I know that's probably big for you to do that, to say it, and I thank you, because you're just, I'm sure, freeing other people by doing that. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
But we just had a conversation. I was at a suicide prevention conference today, and one of the presenters was like, I no longer say if I am or not feeling that way, because I know that if I do say it, this is what comes with saying it.
Absolutely.
And not everybody knows
what comes with saying it.
It's a real, people don't play about that.
And I mean, that's
As
a good
they
thing.
should
Exactly.
not play.
Exactly.
But I also wonder, what other questions are we asking people? You know what I'm saying? What we could dig a little bit deeper. Is this a passive thought that you're having? You know, can I connect you with a therapist?
Exactly.
What is it that you need? Or, you know, what are some of the things that we can ask people versus taking away their freedom? Because that
could be more traumatizing.
Yeah, it is very traumatizing.
It is, incredibly.
It's not a place where you want to be, y'all. Not a place where you want to be. So, you know, after spending, 2 weeks, I was there for 2 weeks because it was an actual attempt. I think, the severity, they claim, all these, whatever. But after doing that, and then stepping down and then doing what they call outpatient treatment, which is like group therapy sessions. I then eventually went to one-on-one therapy sessions. This was over about a year span. Okay?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was able to, because I had the good job, quote unquote good job, I was able to take short-term disability, eventually taking long-term disability, eventually telling them, I'm not coming back.
That's it. Yeah.
You know, and so I was still getting my pay and my benefits.
Oh,
so
nice.
I could do that.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Another privilege. Boom. Right? These are a lot of privileges not everybody has.
And to acknowledge them is already just a level of mindfulness that people don't understand. Like, acknowledge it.
Yeah. And so after doing all that healing, I then had to say to myself, after deciding I'm not going back to corporate America, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Like, what now? Because I got to do something. Because sitting here not doing anything is making me feel kind of bad.
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't feel like I'm connected with society. I'm not an active member of society if I'm just at home, you know? So what do I do? And so my mom had sent me an email from McLean Hospital.
Okay.
Excuse me, McLean Hospital is one of the top, you know, mental health hospitals in Belmont, Massachusetts. And she was like, oh, I think you should share your story. And I was like, there's no way I am sharing my story with anybody.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna know about this.
Because
we're just gonna move on because of the stigma. But then I lost my fourth family member to suicide, and I was just like so angry. And I said, you know what? I'm just gonna be the sacrificial lamb. People not gonna date me. I'm not gonna get whatever. I'm done. I don't want to hide it anymore. I don't want to hide anymore. Like, I'm over it.
That's real. And I'm grateful for Brave Souls. I feel like, you know, we've all kind of had our sets of traumas in life, and mine that I decided to, you know, go forth for was, you know, the sexual assault side of things. But we don't hear enough people talking about the suicidal part. I unfortunately have lost too many close people to suicide, and nobody talks about that angry feeling, because the people that are left behind feels like, oh, I should have did more, or blah, blah, blah. And it's all, there's a way bigger issue, and it's just the fact that people don't feel comfortable being able to express those thoughts, because we're afraid, number one, that we're gonna get locked up, or we're afraid that we're gonna be judged or ridiculed for it. So the biggest thing that we can do, and maybe you can agree or not, I feel like you will though, knowing you, Nieisha. The biggest thing that we can do as people is just to show everybody grace, ultimately. Show everybody grace, because we never know those thoughts that we're dealing with behind closed doors, right? Now, speaking of that, talk about your biggest struggles now transitioning into that advocate now, right?
Yeah.
I know you probably experienced, I know for me, just being in media, a lot of times, even this conversation is low-key triggering for me. But it's a good thing. It's healing. No, it's healing, though. It's healing.
Okay.
You might see some tears and stuff, but I promise it's a healing moment. Yeah. How do you deal with that? Kind of like healing your traumas, but still helping others heal theirs.
Let me tell you something. It is not easy.
It's not.
And the thing about it is that, like, I'm also creating a business
at the same time, right?
At the same time. So it's going into the entrepreneur space, which is not easy.
No.
Being an advocate, and also dealing with family members that are still actively dealing with some of this stuff, right? And so it is very hard. And I'm still figuring it out. I'm not, like, day one, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I was just like, you know what? I want to create this business.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Whatever. I got LLC. Let me pay the $500.
Baby, you was part of that LLC movement. Okay.
Let me go ahead and do all this stuff. Easy peasy. But no, it's definitely hard work, and you can get lost in it, because I think when you're doing the work that you're so passionate about, you can sit there all day long and just focus on your work, and that's not good either, right? And so how do you find harmony in doing this, and so that you can actually live your life, right? Last year was really hard for my entire family, because I had two family members that were going through it. And so it was like Purespark, me working on Purespark, me going to yoga, and me, you know, paying attention and working with my family members that were struggling. Like, that was it.
Okay.
And then this year I said, you know what, hold on. Nieisha, you gotta put in time for fun.
Thank you.
Where is
Thank
fun?
you. Where's just the fun? Turn
Turn up.
Yeah.
And so this year I said, no. I have to schedule it like I'm scheduling a dentist appointment, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, I need to make sure that I'm doing stuff with my friends, you know, at least once a week, right? Scheduling gatherings, going out, right? Like, I'm hoping maybe this Friday we go out to the ICA. I don't
First
know.
of all, this woman be outside. You understand me?
Well, not like that.
Not in a bad way, but she be at the good events, the good stuff. But you are. I see. I see the evidence of you being extra social. Not extra. That sounds crazy the way I'm saying it, but you know what I mean.
You say it, but people get the wrong idea. She's extra social.
No, I'm not. No, I mean it in all the positive ways. I promise. Like, seeing you out, and what it is you're such a ray of joy every time I do see you outside.
Thank you.
So I know it's intentional. Like, I'm out here enjoying myself.
I have to.
I've seen the
for my
evidence
mental
of it.
health.
Yeah.
Like, I take that so seriously, and I know how fragile our mental health is. How one day you could have it, and the next day it's gone. And so I gotta care for it like I'm caring for a little baby.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so you know, so I think a part of it is, you know, balancing out your schedule. I hate the word balance, but figuring out the harmony within your schedule, because it's gonna change day to day. Different things are gonna be priority, you know, whatever. But also, like, finding people that can help you, right?
We keep having this conversation, don't we? Don't we?
It's a theme, right?
Because the team in your village, that literally makes the difference.
It makes the big
literally
difference.
does. We cannot. Can I just stop? Because I feel like I've been saying this a lot these days. Black people, black women, black, brown, whatever you identify as, all these she-ros out here. I know I just did a she-ro series, right? But we can't do it all by ourselves. I promise you, no matter how gifted and talented you are, no one, and I mean no one, can do it all alone. So please, look to your village, look to your team, because you need them.
Yeah.
You blink again and say, you need them.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. It's just been an overwhelming theme in so many parts of my life where I see it mostly with black women, where we're just kind of like, I got it. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. Yeah, I got it. Nope, don't worry about it. Nope, you don't have to do it. I got it.
Strong black
and then
woman.
we end up stressed to the nines, mad at all the people that we said, don't worry about it. I got it.
We're resenting them.
We're resenting them now. And it's like, we have got to get out of that cycle. We're killing ourselves and trying to prove it to who? I don't know who. Yeah. But it's just, that's why I had to stop for a moment to be like,
generational though. It's generational. We've seen our moms do it.
Absolutely.
Our moms saw their moms do it, right? And it's generational, and it's all we know for survival. It's all we know for life. And until somebody says, you know what? I'm not doing that. I'm not sacrificing myself all day long. Yeah. No, it stops with me. It stops with this generation. I'm going to teach the next generation boundaries, right?
Ooh,
because,
that word.
you know, when we think about that, the strong black woman stereotype and the angry black woman stereotype, they kind of go hand in hand, right? Because, you know, this concept that I learned when I was in therapy, the window of tolerance, says that we all have an amount of stress that we can handle, right? You know, for example, let's say like, I could do 3 meetings a day, but 4 meetings a day.
Much now. It's a bit much.
And it's all unique to the person, right? And so imagine what happens when you start taking on 4, 5 meetings every day, right? Then that means that your window of tolerance to handle anything else in life is starting to shrink. And then what gets displayed is that anger. Right?
Okay.
So why is she angry? Because she's stressed out.
She has no more bandwidth.
She has no bandwidth. And then we have to start thinking, okay, well, how do we open up the bandwidth? Well, we create boundaries, right? And we say that, like, hey, I can do this under these types of conditions, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have to be a flat out no, but it's saying, like, these are the conditions that I need in order for me to show up as my full self, right?
Absolutely.
So if I don't get 8 hours of sleep the night before, I'm not gonna be able to show up XYZ in XYZ way in XYZ space, right? And so rest is important to me.
Gotcha.
Very important to me, you know? So yeah, it's just really learning about these concepts, and then trying to figure out how do I apply it in a society that doesn't always allow me. It's hard.
It's way hard. It's hard. And in a world where social media, everybody's got a voice and an opinion.
Yeah.
My God, it's really tough
Yeah.
to try to take on your passion and what you know to believe is right. Now, I feel like I could literally, we're gonna have to have a therapy session after this is over, because I'm hella triggered. No, I'm kidding. I'm messing with you. Now, Nieisha, I feel like the one last question I would ask is, what's in store for Purespark? What can we expect to come from Purespark?
Well, May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Okay.
And then July is Minority Mental Health Month. I know they got 2 separate months.
Okay.
I know, right?
Why are they segregating even that?
I know. Well, there's
difference, right? There's difference
behind it.
Yeah.
Wanting to bring the spotlight to, our community that really never really talked about it.
True.
And if you've been in the mental health space, going to, let's say, certain conferences, you'll see that back in the day, we're not there.
Yeah, we're not
there.
And
so wanting to bring us in, and that's really important to me. I feel like I'm like the DE&I person in mental health.
You definitely are.
Come on, we gotta bring us to the table.
Yeah.
Like, I don't play about that. But in May, we start back our wellness walks that we do in Blue Hills, and the intention behind that really was to get us out in community, walking, talking, and also introduce people to different wellness practitioners. So I think this next one, we're gonna have a sound healer and a doula. She's a doula, a sound healer, and a yoga teacher.
Nice.
Come and do some sound healing and breathing exercises. And then we go on a little walkie walk. We talk. We out in nature. Come through. Now it's 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning.
That morning time is crazy.
I know that's wild.
That's wild, crazy that y'all would be up there early. No, but I get it. That's when the earth is the most beautiful. I feel like before the rest of the world wakes up, you're already out. Yeah.
There's a couple of jolly people out there early in the morning, but it's not too many people. And the people that have gone with us on these walks have said, wow, I feel like I went on a little mini vacation. Being out in the woods, it's quiet. All you hear is birds chirping. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna have to
You're crunching, you're walking on leaves, and it's just like,
okay. I'm gonna do it.
So that's it. Yeah, come on out.
The way I think about nature in the morning, I'm like, but I'm gonna do it. It's the morning.
A vibe.
But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
And then in July, we have we're working with Boston Public Library to bring out a conversation with people with lived experience to talk about their mental health journey on a panel. So it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope. So
if you need me,
maybe.
You see how I love to plug myself?
I know. Maybe we'll. I wanted you to MC before, and I think I dropped the ball on that. I did. I dropped the ball. So I gotta pick the ball back up, and I'm talking to folks at Boston Public Library on Friday.
Nice.
So I have more information.
Dope. I look forward to that, honestly. And like I told you beforehand, your work speaks for itself. I'm grateful that you're here. Continue to do that work. We need you. We need a more normalized face behind mental health, and you are that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let the people know them, because I'm fake Jamaican. No, let the people know.
You know what?
Let the people know, if they don't know already, where they can find you and all your resources.
Google me.
Google me.
Besides Googling me, you can look me up on all social media platforms. I'm on Instagram at Your Purespark. LinkedIn, Purespark is for the people that, corporate America folks, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
LinkedIn. I'm still out there.
Okay.
LinkedIn streets. You can look me up on Facebook. I don't even know if people still use Facebook, I'm still on there for the aunties and uncles. You know what I'm saying? I'm still out there, you know what I'm saying?
Aunties need mental health too. They all need it. They need some help.
And also, last but not least, you can check us out on our website at www.yourpurespark.com.
And if you're hearing it from me, and I promise you this is not a paid promotion, okay? I used it. I am a witness. It works. just go to the website and start the process. I promise you, it's easy. It's easy from there. Now listen, I appreciate you I gotta let the people know where to find me. Jesus, forget about all of that. After you set your appointment and go to Purespark and get all your therapy and all that set up, then go on over and check me out at MsMophila.com to keep track of everything that I'm doing. And then once you get done over there, bring it on over to Inside the Maze on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe here on YouTube, and hit that little notification bell so that you can keep track of all the things that are going on here Inside the Maze. We're getting bigger, we're getting better, and it's just gonna be doper from here, man. The Critical Breakdown. Ms. Mophila, the one and only Nieisha D. Okay, we out of here.